Insurance, this is Tony Cañas, and today I want to talk to you about two radically different paths of success and why I choose the path less traveled. Two men of similar ages passed away within a couple of days of each other. They both spent the great majority of their lives as successful businessmen in Des Moines, Iowa. They might have met at the Chamber of Commerce, and for all I know, they might have even been friends. And yet, they were radically different. They both had large effects on my career. One of them was Ted Lusum, an Iowa insurance legend who lived a life of service to others. I already made a video about Ted, which I'll link below. Ted was a mentor to me. Ted was a caring soul who focused on making the world a better place. He ran an insurance agency and did well for himself and his family. But more importantly, he was an extremely kind man, and he left a legacy of dedication, love, and service. The other one, let's call him Don, not his real name, was a very successful entrepreneur who became very wealthy. By all traditional measures, Don was very successful. His company grew and became a leader in their industry. They bought out a few other companies along the way. They even had a company plane. But Don wasn't a great boss or a great leader. His company wasn't a great place to work. It ran largely on fear, and it was always our way or the highway. I worked there for almost 4 years, and even though there were about 150 people in the office, I never got to meet Don. He was more like a ghost. What I mean is that he was mentioned all the time by my boss and my boss's boss, usually to strike fear in the hearts of employers. Don walks around the office on long weekends to make sure there are no messy desks, is a silly example of how it really felt like he was a ghost. It was an environment of micromanaging and distrust. It wasn't that I had a particularly bad manager. I had 3 managers during my time there, and one of them was actually pretty good. But the overall environment was without question toxic. The company has a reputation for working people to the bone and then fighting them on their unemployment if they happen to get fired. They fought me on my unemployment. Luckily, I won that fight. I really don't want to speak ill of the dead. Like I said, I never met Don personally, so I don't want to say anything bad about him. But the company that he created and ran for decades was just not a good place. It was a great money maker, but not a good place to work at. And I just thought that the contrast between Ted and Don is fascinating. Like I said, that they lived in the same small city during the same time frame. They were both successful businessmen, but they took such radically opposite paths. One of them focused mostly on maximizing his wealth, even if it meant at the cost of his employees, while the other one focused on service to others and on leaving the world a better place than he found it. Personally, between the millions of dollars that Don made in his life using a culture of fear and abusing his employees, and the hundreds of lives that Ted touched with his kindness, I choose to model my career and life after Ted. I encourage you to do the same. To be super clear, there's nothing wrong with getting rich. I'd rather get there with kindness. I'd rather have love and kindness as my guiding principles rather than money as my guiding principles. A couple of years ago, I spoke at a conference. Amy Waninger spoke there, and one of her friends also spoke there. I can't think of his name right now, but I'll ask her so I can link him below. And he asked us, as an exercise during his very, very fantastic session, to list our number one value and give us a few minutes to do so. And it took me a while to think about it. But ultimately, my number one value is people first, and that's how I choose to lead my life, and that's how I choose to run my career. And I choose to work for companies and help companies that match that value of people first. And I think that is the key difference between the Ted model of success and the Don model of success. It is very, very clear that for Ted, people came first, while it very much looks like for Don, money came first. And again, I choose to live my life and run my career like Ted. I encourage you to do the same. Thank you.